You know you've crossed the wrong Texan when you show up on his ranch, uninvited, in a white dress after stealing his patio for your wedding, and then have the audacity to call 911 when he shows up to take it back. Well, that's what happened with Karen Whitmore, self-declared HOA royalty, who tried to turn my ranch into her personal wedding venue. Big mistake. Because when you mess with a rancher, you better check whose land you're standing on. And Karen? She forgot to ask. I own a 20-acre spread just outside Fredericksburg, Texas. Family land. My grandfather built the stone patio overlooking the hill country with his bare hands 40 years ago. This hosted BBQs, birthdays, and yes, a few weddings, all by invitation. Enter Karen. She moved into the gated community next to my land about 2 years ago. HOA president within 6 months. Platinum highlights, white Range Rover, and an ego the size of Dallas. We never spoke much, mainly because I don't take kindly to people trying to regulate my fence height from across a cattle guard. Then, one Friday in spring, I drove home to find a dozen strangers on my ranch, stringing up lights, hauling in folding chairs, and setting up an archway on my family patio. I thought I was hallucinating. I asked the event planner, "Who told y'all you could be here?" She gestured toward the patio. Ms. Whitmore said the ranch was vacant and part of the HOA Nature Preserve. I blinked. Karen Whitmore? Sure enough, there she was, standing by the bar set up in a silk robe and white slippers, sipping champagne like she owned the place. I walked right up. "Karen, this is my land. You're trespassing." She looked me over like I was the help. "Oh, please. The registry map online doesn't show a house. You're barely ever here. It's just a patio. Just patio. I'm giving you 30 minutes to clear out," I said. "Wedding or not." She smirked. "Try and stop me. I already called 911. You're harassing a bride on her wedding day." About 15 minutes later, a deputy arrived. Young guy, knew who I was. "Mr. Callahan," he said. "I got a report of a disturbance, but looks like you're the one being disturbed." I nodded. "Yep. Want to see the deed and the survey lines." He waved it off. "Not necessary. I deer hunt back here with your cousin." Meanwhile, Karen stormed over in full wedding gown, veil flapping in the wind. "I demand you arrest him for interfering with a lawful ceremony." The deputy shook his head. "Ma'am, you're trespassing on private land. You've got 10 minutes to leave or you'll be charged." Karen didn't move, just stomped back toward the patio, yelling at the wedding planner to keep it going. That's when I got an idea, and a little help from my ranch hand, Tyler, who pulled up in the flatbed truck with a couple surprises in the back. Right as the officiant began the ceremony, I walked over to the power source, my generator, and shut it off. Music, dead. Lights? Microphones? Silent. Karen screamed, "What do you think you're doing?" But I didn't answer. I just gave Tyler the signal. He backed the truck down the gravel path, winched a few ratchet straps around the folding arbor and aisle runner they had bolted into my pavers, and slowly, carefully, dragged the entire setup off the patio and into the field. The chairs went next. The guests stared in silent disbelief. By the time the sun set, the bride, the planner, and her screaming mother-in-law were left standing in the dirt, watching their Pinterest-perfect ceremony unravel like toilet paper in a tornado. Karen was cited for trespassing and hit with a civil suit for property damage. She cracked 2 limestone tiles dragging in her signature wedding throne. The HOA tried to defend her, but once my lawyer showed the drone footage, they backed off. 3 months later, Karen sold her house and moved to Scottsdale. My patio? Still here, strong as ever. Now with a new sign carved into the stone. Private property, no Karens allowed.